Yo, what is going on, everyone? My name is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy. In today's video, I am bringing you guys a mock draft I did for Dynasty on the BDGE Discord. If you guys are a Patreon member of Nick and them, there is Discord mock drafts they hold all the time. They're doing Discord mock draft week where they try to do as many mock drafts as possible to create an ADP for Dynasty draft. So that's what this is. I was a part of Dynasty draft number 9 with a bunch of random people. Now, some people, it says they were on auto or that they were gone. In reality, the auto was only like the last couple of picks of the draft. So in my opinion, this is a very good look at what your guys' drafts are going to be looking like in the next upcoming months. Now, obviously, things will change once these players end up having their landing spots. We see Trevor Lawrence go in this draft, a bunch of the big rookie names, but they will obviously shift in draft position depending on where they land. Now, we can only assume Trevor Lawrence goes to the Jacksonville Jaguars, but who I'm really talking about is a guy like Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Najee Harris, maybe where Kyle Pitts goes, where Jalen Waddle goes. All this stuff will go together with the draft spot. If these guys are getting drafted to teams that you think are going to be actually good and that the player fits well there, then they are going to get drafted much higher than where they would go, obviously, if they ended up in a worse spot. So in this video, we're just going to go over this mock draft. If you guys would like to see a live mock draft, not really a live one, but one where I'm actually making the picks while I'm talking about the video, please make sure to let me know. I actually like doing the breakdowns a little bit better because then I'm not sitting here for 2 minutes in a lull while people are fiddling around with their butt trying to figure out what the fuck to do at their pick. So let's get into it. If you guys do end up enjoying this video, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you guys want more NFL content, hit that subscribe button. I'm also making NBA content once or twice a week talking about some picks. I went 4-0 yesterday, so make sure you guys do follow that if you guys enjoy gambling. So let's get into it. First pick of the draft was Patrick Mahomes, followed by Christian McCaffrey, Alvin Kamara, Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor, Kyler Murray, and then I was up with Josh Allen. Now, this is a super flex draft. Super flex meaning you can start 2 quarterbacks. The second flex, one of the flex spots, you can start quarterback, running back, wide receiver, or tight end. This is the normal, I would say, right now for Dynasty leagues. So that's why this is a super flex draft. There may be a non-super flex Dynasty mock draft coming up, but again, a majority of people at this point play in super flex leagues, and obviously this draft includes the rookies, not rookie picks or anything like that. Obviously, some leagues are different. Some Dynasty startups are you literally just draft veterans. This one has the rookies in it as well. So through the first 7 picks, including mine, this seems like it's going to be pretty chalk. Mahomes going at the 101 is going to happen unless this guy ends up dying. Even after the Super Bowl, even after he didn't have all that great of a performance, even after some people thought that maybe other teams have figured this guy out, doesn't seem to matter at all because Patrick Mahomes still going to be the 101 pick in a majority of leagues unless it's going to be Christian McCaffrey. Now, the one guy that is missing, I feel like, Dalvin or Saquon Barkley, I'm surprised didn't go ahead of Derrick Henry and Jonathan Taylor, if I'm being honest with you. I understand that Dynasty a lot is based off of age. Jonathan Taylor is much younger, coming into his 2nd year in the NFL. I'm just not too sure I would pick him over Dalvin or Saquon Barkley, but I do understand Barkley definitely coming off of tearing his ACL. I went with Josh Allen as the 3rd quarterback off the board. Obviously, Deshaun's still available, Lamar, Justin Herbert, a bunch of other players are still available. Personally, I have always been in the camp of Josh Allen, and what he showed us last season was completely tremendous. I did not expect that big of a leap. I think the Bills are an absolute wagon who are going to continue to keep getting better. They have a majority of the staff together, similar team with Stephon Diggs. Josh Allen is simply unstoppable, so that's why I went with him at the 107. I think that Josh Allen is going to be a top 3, top 5 quarterback for the next few years to come. After Josh Allen, Dalvin Cook came off the board and Saquon Barkley. It seems like nice value, but again, there is definitely worries about Barkley when it comes to drafting him in Dynasty, coming off of an ACL tear, but Barkley has never shown us in his career that the fact that he has torn his ACL is going to make him just terrible, and the medicine has just gotten so much better that I'm not all that worried. Deshaun came after that, followed by Nick Chubb, DeAndre Swift, Lamar Jackson, Cam Akers, and Justin Herbert to close out the 2.3 of the draft. Now, I want to talk about Deshaun Watson a little bit. Now, when drafting right now, I would be a little hesitant to draft Deshaun Watson because if Deshaun Watson ends up on the New York Football Jets, I feel like even though Houston was a shitstorm, that might be worse. It really might be. So I don't know if I want to draft Deshaun Watson that high, strictly based off of not knowing where he's going to play quarterback. A lot of people think he'll retain Houston. A lot of people think he's going to the Dolphins, the Jets, the Niners, all these spots. So right now, I'm just not too sure what I would do with that. DeAndre Swift seems a little too high in my opinion. Zeke really falls, and we're going to be talking about him in a little bit. Lamar Jackson falling to quarterback 5. Originally, the thought maybe he was the quarterback 1 in Dynasty. Quarterback 2, I had him as number 2. Clearly just did not show up like that. And I do worry about him unless they start drafting this guy weapons if he's ever going to be able to really be a locked and loaded top 3 guy on a week-in, week-out basis for a while, because that's what you're hoping for in Dynasty. Obviously, though, at quarterback 5, I don't mind it. Akers, I like a lot. Justin Herbert, the pervert, Josh Jacobs, Tyreek Hill, and then I went with Dak Prescott. Now, a strategy of mine that I like to use is to draft 2 quarterbacks early on in the draft. I have these 2 guys now for a long time. Both these guys are super young quarterbacks, Allen and Dak Prescott, and as long as they don't get hurt, I should be good. Another one of my strategies is to draft a veteran quarterback later in the draft that we are going to be talking about later, but I do really like Dak Prescott a lot coming off of the injury. I think he's going to be fine. I think the Cowboys are going to re-sign him, but again, that is a little bit nerve-wracking. After that, we see Trevor Lawrence followed by Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson had a real tipsy-turvy kind of year. He started off so strong. Everyone thought he was going to finally win his first MVP. The guy's been really good in the NFL for so many years, and he never got the recognition that he deserved being the NFL MVP. Now, we thought that was going to be him. Then the second half, they kind of took a dive like Jose Canseco against Billy Football. So if I'm being honest with you, I don't really know what to think about Russell Wilson. I still think he's going to be a fine quarterback. I just don't love him because it seems like the Seahawks offense is just so weird. After that, we see Zeke. Zeke, very interesting at the 2-9. Now, I do understand that Zeke had a down year, but why is he getting drafted behind Josh Jacobs? Not like Zeke is 29 years old, right? He's not. He's still good. The team just looks so much better with Dak. Obviously, I don't think Zeke's like a top 4 running back, top 3 running back, but he definitely has the upside to be that. So at the 2-9, that's definitely a huge steal for Mr. Lumpy at the 209. After that was Devontae Adams, J.K. Dobbins, and Joe Burrow. Very interesting. Burrow moving back further than I thought he would. I honestly thought Burrow would get drafted ahead of Trevor Lawrence. I mean, both kind of shitty situations. Coming off the ACL, I do think Joe Burrow is going to have a much bigger impact this season, at least, than Trevor Lawrence. After that, we see Justin Jefferson. Great pick at the 301. Jefferson was completely amazing in his rookie campaign, and I expect that to continue to go up, unless, of course, they trade away Kirk Cousins, which it seems like is possible. DK Metcalf, Stephon Diggs, Aaron Jones, Antonio Gibson. Antonio Gibson going ahead of David Montgomery to me was a little bit of ludicrousness. Luda! When I was 13, I had my first love. Same thing with going ahead of Austin Eckler, if I'm being honest. I like Antonio Gibson. I like this Washington football team offense, but I would personally prefer to have David Montgomery. Travis Kelsey goes at the 3-6. Travis Kelsey in SuperFlex Dynasty Leagues is literally a 3rd or 4th round pick pretty much every single time, unless you're doing tight end premium. In that case, he's like a 1st round pick because he's like a top 3 wide receiver because he's that good. There are going to be narratives, oh, is this offense washed up after the Super Bowl? People who say that just need to put a fucking muzzle on it. You don't need to listen to that at all. I think Kelsey's going to have a great 2021 and on. I went with David Montgomery. I love David Montgomery. He's been one of my favorite running backs since coming into the league in 2019. Obviously, did not have that great of a rookie season last year. Was bad at the beginning. He was down bad, but at the end of the season, he was up. He was high in the sky. And I don't think it matters who the quarterback is, so I think David Montgomery will be fine, whether it's Wentz, whether it's Foles, whether it's kissing titties. Mitchell Trubisky. After that, we see DeAndre Hopkins, Austin Eckler, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, A.J. Brown, and Aaron Rodgers to close out the 3rd round. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 total quarterbacks go in the first 3 rounds. Now, that's interesting because in some leagues, you'll see like 9 quarterbacks go in the first 3 rounds. In others, you'll see like 16. It really just depends because in some leagues, I will have drafted Dak Prescott, and then the next 5 guys have shit their pants and are thinking, oh, I need to draft at least one of my quarterbacks because then they're not going to come back to me. You need good quarterbacks in SuperFlex Dynasty Leagues. That's how you really win. a majority of the time is having two great quarterbacks. Now I'm going to panic. Now I'm going to reach on this guy. That happens a lot. So obviously be ready for that. At the 4-1 begins with Miles Sanders, followed by George Kittle, me Timbers, Joe Mixon, James Robinson, CeeDee Lamb, and then I went with Calvin Ridley. James Robinson is an interesting pick at the 404. There's definitely some surrounding noise that they're going to end up drafting another running back, bring in another running back. To me, that would be stupid of the Jacksonville Jaguars. We saw how good James Robinson was. Undrafted free agent. Dude's a fucking beast. I like him at the 404. Joe Mixon, a falling value, but will he ever be worth the 4th round pick at this point? I don't know. Mixon, it really depends on the offensive line. I really do like Joe Mixon. I think he's being undervalued, but there's obviously the opportunity that he ends up in a complete and utter dumpster fire situation like last season. I got Calvin Ridley at the 406, and personally, chef's kiss. I thought that was amazing. Calvin Ridley isn't all that old. Sure, Matt Ryan will be gone probably in a year, right? Probably play this year, then he's gone. But even so, Julio's going to be gone soon. Calvin Ridley is amazing. He should be there for a long time. I like Calvin Ridley a lot. I mean, based on what I've seen from him, he's worth a 4th round pick. After that, we see DJ Moore, followed by Najee Harris. Najee Harris was a guy I was really looking at to pick at that 4-6 pick, but I decided to go wide receiver because I like to load up heavy on wide receivers. I've noticed in Dynasty leagues, at least heavier than I do in redraft leagues, because I feel like there's a lot of value at the wide receiver positions here since so many people are loading up on running back. I think Calvin Ridley is like a mainstay in my lineup as a potential wide receiver 1 week in, week out. I just like this strategy. Najee Harris, though, is a running back I really like out of Alabama. I think he is my running back 1 as of right now. Maybe things will change as I watch these guys a little bit more, but I think Harris, depending on where he lands, is definitely worthy of a 4th round pick and may skyrocket even higher. After that, we see Michael Thomas, a pick I don't like. I understand in the 4th round, sure, you got to pick Michael Thomas, but is Michael Thomas even worth the 5th round or the 4th round pick right now? Because we don't know what he's going to do next year. We don't know how the Saints offense is going to run. I'm a little worried. Jalen Hurts comes at the 410. I am not paying that price. No way, Jose, would I be paying that price. That seems insane. Insane. We don't even know if he's the starting quarterback, and he's going in the 4th round. Literally makes no sense, in my opinion. After that, Darren Waller, Travis Etienne to close out the 4th round. Again, probably landing spot dependent whether Najee Harris or Etienne ends up being the higher pick in 2021 Dynasty drafts. After that, we see Terry McLaurin, Chris Godwin, Keenan Allen, Allen Robinson, Ryan Tannehill, Javonte Williams. Devontae Smith was my pick at the 5-7. 2 rookies back-to-back, Michael Jordan, 96-97. Woo! In the 5th round, Javonte Williams, running back, and then I went with Devontae Smith, wide receiver out of Alabama. There's going to be people talking about, hey, Jamar Chase is better, hey, Waddle's better, hey, this, say this, say that. Who gives a fuck? Pick your guy. I think Devontae Smith ends up in a great spot early on in the draft, which will boost his value, obviously, at the 5-7. While rookie wide receivers typically don't instantly cement themselves into the lineup and are amazing, we saw this year a bunch of amazing wide receivers, so I'll be happy drafting Smith here at the 507. If you guys have ended up enjoying this Dynasty draft breakdown, please make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. After that was Amari Cooper, Matthew Stafford, Jamar Chase, Mike Evans, T. Higgins to close out the 5th round. I was talking in the chat. Now, I'm not talking shit to these guys. These guys were absolute animals in the chat. Nothing against them. It was just hilarious. They were getting in arguments about whose team's better in a fucking mock draft. It was hilarious. But Matthew Stafford going ahead of Fields and Wilson, I'm going to be honest, I don't understand that. I do kind of, because I think Stafford will be good for the next couple of years, but the next quarterback off the board to me made no sense over Justin Fields or Zach Wilson. So after that was Jamar Chase, Mike Evans, and Titty Boy T. Higgins, followed by Brandon Ayuk, Deontay Johnson. Amazing value at the 602. Seems like if Juju is on his way out on the plane or in his Corvette, it seems like Deontay Johnson has the opportunity to be a wide receiver 1 for a long time in Pittsburgh. Jerry Jeudy came off the board after that. Jerry Jeudy got a tough role in 2020. Horsecock Drew Lock just didn't have a horsecock. He was micro penis Drew Lock in some games, horsecock in the other. I mean, who knows if they're going to roll with him again. I think with Colton Sutton returning, we have a much better chance of seeing a better version of Jerry Jeudy in 2021. This is the quarterback I really had an issue with, Baker Mayfield, coming at the 6-4 ahead of Justin Fields and Zach Wilson. Frankly, I just don't think Baker is worth that pick. I think he's a fine quarterback in Dynasty, right, because he's safe. He's never, in my opinion, going to amount to being a top 10 quarterback. like for a season. Maybe there'll be weeks where he does, right? Because the offense is good. But they're in a run-heavy system. So why do you want the quarterback at the 6'4" when you can just take a shot that Fields and Wilson, because they have a much higher ceiling. They really do. Even Trey Lance does, and I don't even think Trey Lance plays a snap of football in 2021. I just feel like with Stafford, if you're going to draft Stafford, nothing against this guy, but if you're going to draft Stafford, you need to go with a much more upside, younger quarterback. In my opinion, Baker does not have that, and I even would have went with Tua over him because I think Tua is going to take that next step up as the Dolphins quarterback in 2021. After Baker Mayfield was Mark Andrews, followed by my pick of Kareem Hunt. Hunt's a guy that I feel very safe with drafting in leagues. He's not necessarily a running back one week in, week out because Chubb's there, but he's never going to be a guy that really goes under 10 points. He's just a safe guy. You throw him in your roster. Fuck it, he's my running back too. I don't feel too bad about starting him. He has a lot of upside because if Nick Chubb was to go down, he legitimately could be a top 5 running back. He has an even better spot, in my opinion, when Chubb is gone than Chubb does when Chubb is there, because then Kareem is getting the lion's share of the backfield. So I really do like picking Kareem Hunt here in the 6th round. After that, we see A.J. Dillon. This is obviously under the assumption that Aaron Jones is gone. To be honest, I don't know about that, so I don't think I'm taking A.J. Dillon at the 607, at least as of right now. After that, we see Chase Claypool come off the board, followed by Justin Fields at the 6'9". Very nice. Chris Carson, Zach Wilson, Juju Smith-Schuster. Personally, if I was to rank those two quarterbacks, I prefer Zach Wilson. I don't think Justin Fields is the guy that most people think he is. I just don't think he is. I think he's a good quarterback. I think he will be good in the NFL, but it really depends on the landing spot. If Fields is in a team and in a spot where he does not get to learn, he is just jolted into the lineup, I think he's going to struggle. I really do. He struggles with staring down wide receivers, and that's not what you want out of your quarterback. After that, we see at 6'12", Mr. Corvette, Juju Smith-Schuster, likely not going to be a Steeler. I'm not looking for Juju at all. He was consensus top 12 wide receiver coming into last year in Dynasty. I kind of liked him a little bit. He was raw. He does have very good talent, but seems like the guy cares too much about Fortnite rather than playing in the NFL. At 7'1", TJ Hawkinson came off the board, followed by Trey Lance, Zach Moss. Very early for Moss. Don't really think he'll ever amount to being a running back one in the NFL. Kenyon Drake, Kenny Golladay, Tua Tagovailoa, which is who I was actually going to pick. I don't discern people for going super quarterback heavy in Dynasty drafts, in SuperFlex. I don't. I frankly think that if I had Josh Allen, Dak, Tua, you could ship Tua off for something way better than what you could pick here in the 7th round. You could trade Tua for like Aaron Jones or something. You really can, because of how fantasy football works, especially in dynasty leagues, is the quarterbacks are at such a fucking premium in these superflex leagues that they're worth so much more than what you draft them at, especially in the 7th round with a guy like Tua who has so much potential. Kenny Golladay, I love that pick at the 705. I think Golladay, while I don't think he'll necessarily be a Detroit Lion in 2021, I love the upside of Golladay for the future. I went with Robert Woods with Matthew Stafford. Now there I feel even more confident. Woods is a guy I've liked for years. He's been a guy I've been beating the drum for. He seems like he's just a very safe player. Wide receiver 3 on my team. Really a wide receiver 2 because Devontae Smith doesn't get that top tier echelon prowess in my lineup instantly because he's a rookie. But he will eventually potentially even be my wide receiver 1. Robert Woods is just very good, so I like picking him in the 7th round. I really think this Rams team is going to be great in 2021 and be deep into the playoffs. After that, we see Adam Thielen followed by Baby Chark, Baby Chark, DJ Chark. Love that with Trevor Lawrence. After that, we see Odell. I fucking hate Odell. Odell likes to get shit on, allegedly, and he likes to shit on you when you draft him on your dynasty team. This guy's awful. I can't stand Odell. Can't stand him. He's in a system that likes to run. Doesn't do anything. Let's pull up his stats real quick because I know every single year there is the Odell guys that will draft Odell religiously. Like it is their literal religion. Like they pray to the Odell god. It makes no sense. Seems like a nice guy and all. But what are you guys doing? What are people doing? There's nothing to see here. Look, 2020. 5 points, 17 points, 9, 38, 11, 4. What did that do for you? Nothing. 2019 with the Browns. 14, 28, 11, 4, 4, 16, 10, 13, 10, 10, 25, 5, 14, 14, 17. Where's the upside in that? There isn't any. He's an up-and-down player. He's not the Odell we saw in New York. He's washed. I don't like him. Let me know what you guys think about Odell down below. Would you draft him at the 7-10? Because I'm not even looking at him there. And no, I'm not a hater about Odell because I used to like Odell. I just don't think this situation is good for him in Cleveland. And it seems like the team is worse with Odell. After that, we see Colton Sutton followed by Kyle Pitts. Pitts, maybe early, you might say. But, I mean, this guy seems like a day one amazing piece for your team. Like, day one. Like, this motherfucker steps on the NFL field. You play him. He's a tight end, but he's also a receiver. Out of Florida. There's not too much to say about him. I mean, you can literally just Google his highlight tape. Your eyes will ejaculate. At the 801, we see Rashad Bateman, followed by Will Fuller, Cooper Kupp, Jalen Waddle, Tyler Lockett, and then I went with Brady. And my thinking behind this is in my other Dynasty league, my real league, I drafted Tom Brady around the same spot last season. And I shipped him off for Stephon Diggs. Why? Because later in the season, a contender, maybe you're a contender, I was. You trade him to another one. Who gives a fuck? And you get something good back because Brady is going to be a top 12 quarterback. Maybe not for the next 10 years, obviously, but you never fucking know because Tom Brady is literally a machine, just won the Super Bowl, 7,000 years old, older than a fucking dinosaur, freer than free, and he's still great. So for an 8th round pick, you can just ship him off for something much better. I mean, it's too simple. In my head, after Tampa Bay, Tom Brady, Rondale Moore came off the board, followed by Julio in the 8th round. I love that pick on Julio. Criminally underrated. Missed a bunch of times last year. Missed a bunch of time, I should say. But again, he's still Julio Jones. After that, we see Matty Ice Baby. Dun, 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 dun. Seems like his career is really dwindling off. Probably has 2 years left. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if Tom Brady played longer than Matt Ryan. You like that. Kirk Cousins after that, followed by Ronald Jones and Michael Pittman to close out the 8th round. Rojo, interesting pick at the 8-11. Will they sign back Fournette or not? Will depend on if Rojo's a great value in the 8th round. After that, we see Miles, Carroll, Gaskin. They seem like a team. As a Dolphins fan, got Dan Marino behind me. Actually, over there, Dan Marino. I don't know what we're going to do. I don't know if we're going to draft running back. I hope so, but Gaskin is a serviceable running back. Laviska Shenault at the 9-2. Interesting pick, obviously, assuming Trevor Lawrence comes to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Henry Ruggs. Don't like Ruggs. Really off of Ruggs. Tyler Boyd, Noah Fant, Denzel Mimsy. And I went with Raheem Mostert. San Francisco is a team that likes to run the rock gently down the stream, and they seem to not give a fuck about who the running back one is. They kind of just ride the hot hand, and if Raheem the Dream is the one getting hot, I'm going to be having some Raheem wet dreams next season. After that, we see Melvin Gordon, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Kadarius Toney, Damian Harris, and Kenneth Gainwell. A lot of rookies going there. I like Kadarius Toney out of Florida. I think if he's drafted to the right team, he should be good. Gainwell doesn't seem all that great, I believe, out of Memphis, but could be good. I mean, we saw Memphis running backs have done pretty well in the NFL as of recent. After that, we saw Jalen Reagor, just a wash, in my opinion. Maybe he'll be better now that they fired Doug Peterson, but it seems like the Eagles just can't develop these wide receivers. After that, we see Jared Goff, Terrence Marshall, Dallas Goedert, Danny Dimes, Vanilla Vic. Now, interesting. I drafted Brady, and then Jones, and then Wentz come after them, so there's a real fall-off there, at least in my opinion, between these three guys, because I don't see Jones as being an NFL starter past next year. Wentz is just washed. I mean, I don't even know where he's going to play quarterback. It's very interesting. After that, I went with Debo. Debo really falling after a tremendous rookie season last year, injured during a sophomore campaign, obviously. Oh, but Nick Brandon Ayuk is fucking amazing. Still a wide receiver, too, on a team that is decent. Pretty good team in the 49ers. After that, we see playoff Super Bowl Lenny, followed by Carson Wentz, Alexander Mattison, James Conner, who's not going to be starter anymore, I don't think, Curtis Samuel, and Darnell. Here comes the money. Now we're at the part of the draft where it turns a bit sour, and where you got to be making these safer kind of picks, or just a straight upside pick. Starting the 11th round, we see Derek Carr, followed by famous Jameis, they famous anus. Eat a W. Evan Ingram, Tony Pollard, Robbie Anderson, Mackie Mac Jones, and then I went with Jarvis Landry. Death taxes, Jarvis Landry catching 7,000 balls. I mean, even in the Cleveland offense that doesn't like to throw the ball, Jarvis still eats. So I felt very confident taking him. After that was Gesicki, Hunter Henry, Devin Singletary, Mono Man Sam, and Hollywood Brown. It really does fall off at the quarterback coming later in the draft. At the 12-1, Jordan Love. Jordan Love. Who knows what's to come in Green Bay? Rodgers initially a bit cryptic after that loss up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, saying, oh, who knows if I'll be back, this, that, and the other thing is he's going to be back. This just in. He'll be back, but who knows where it'll be 2 years from now. Now, let's see this guy's quarterbacks. He's got Rodgers, Lamar. That makes sense, actually. If you draft Rodgers and you draft Love, you know for sure you got the Green Bay quarterback for the next couple of years, because I don't think they're going to draft anyone besides Love, at least unless Rodgers is here for the next 5 years, and then they just trade Love. After that, we see Michael Gallup, followed by Todd Gurley, Devontae Parker, Chase Edmonds. I went with Naheem Hines. Seems like he's still going to be involved in Indianapolis. Seems like he's just going to be the guy getting the receptions. Obviously, JT can as well, but it's like my running back. Let's see how many running backs I got now. Got Dave Montgomery, that's 1. Kareem, 2. Raheem Mostert, 3. He's my running back 4. Likely never going to crack the lineup because I got a lot of guys at receiver to play my flexes, and then I have the SuperFlex, obviously, so he's just a guy to add there in case JT gets hurt. After that, we got Antonio Brown, Diami Brown, double Brown action there, Corey Davis, Zach Ertz, Irv Smith, and Robert Tonyan. Tonyan fell really far compared to where I thought he would end up going. Evan Ingram went a little high. I feel like that guy's just done in the NFL. Ramorde Stevenson, Gabriel Davis. Again, if I pronounce these guys' names that are rookies, I always do. Gabriel Davis, and I get a little bit more familiar. Anthony McFarland, Hayden Hurst, Elijah Moore, Gus Bus, and I went with Jeff Wilson. I have locked up the San Francisco backfield. Both these guys are going to be there likely in 2021. You like to see that. After that, we see David Johnson, Brandon Cooks, Keshawn Vaughn, Janu Smith, I should say, and Brian Edwards. The 14th round begins with Horsecock, Drew Lock, KJ Hamler, Cole Kmet, Trey Sermon, Le'Veon Bell, and I went with Gronk. I didn't have a tight end to this spot in the draft, and I figured, you know what? Gronk's going to play another year. He said he's coming back. Fuck it. He's like, it'll be all right. I mean, the rest of the team will carry. As long as Gronk gets like 8 points a week, I'll be happy. Pat Fairmouth, this guy seems like an interesting pick out of Penn State. Seems like Penn State, I thought his picture would show up. I guess not. Out of Penn State, an interesting pick. Seems like they've bred a couple of tight ends in the NFL. Gesicki now. Fairmouth seems like a pretty good pick. After that, we see Jamar Jefferson. A lot of people really high on Jamar, and a lot of people really low on Jamar Jefferson. So I'd be interested to know if you guys are big Dynasty players, big rookie-looking guys. Let me know what you guys think about Jamar Chase as well, or Jamar Jefferson down below. Jamar Chase is also an interesting talking point, though, because, again, a lot of people have those top 3 wide receivers in different spots. After that, we see Paris Campbell, Christian Kirk, Jameson Crowder, and Mike Williams. The 15th round begins with Darrington Evans, Joshua Kelly, LaMichael Pirine, Ben Roethlisberger, Seth Williams, Tylan Wallace, and I went with Marvin Jones. Again, all these people taking random shots at Seth Williams, Tylan Wallace. I'll take Marvin Jones. Seems like he's not going to be in Detroit. Seems like he hates Detroit, but he seems like a solid wide receiver. As long as he ends up on the right team, he'll be worthy of this 15th pick because I could play him weekly. Darrell Henderson, Jimmy Guap, Logan Thomas, Marlon Mack, Adam Troutman. Interesting to see where Troutman will fall due to the fact that the Saints are likely not going to be bringing back Jared Cook, J.D. McKisson-Titties, Phillip Lindsay, Lynn Bowden, Kyle Trask. I like that pick a lot. I really do. I think Trask may get drafted in the first round and may actually play some this season. Teddy Roosevelt, I went with Mike Davis. Christian McCaffrey's handcuff. Pretty simple. The guy was a beast when McCaffrey was gone, so pretty simple. Brevin Jordan, Austin Hooper, Tyler Higbee, T.Y. Hilton, Jamal Williams, DJ Dallas. Again, I'm not going to go super in-depth with these 20,000th round picks because, frankly, there's not too much to talk about. I'm going to move myself up a little bit so you guys can see the bottom of the board. After that, we saw Tariq Cohen, followed by Rashad Penny. Penny is just a lost cause. I clicked on Jamal. Penny's a lost cause. This guy is the walking definition of the IR, walking definition of the blue injury tent, this guy. Darius Slayton, Cam Newton, interesting to see where he goes. Cole Beasley, Taylor Heineke, maybe the quarterback of the future in Washington. James White, I love that pick because I made it because I think he's going to come to Tampa. Play with Tom. Alan Lazard, Nelson Aguilar, McCole Hardman, Salvin Ahmed, Sterling Shepard, Kissin Titties, Mitchell Trubisky, Eric Ebron, Taysom Hill. I think that's a waste of a pick. Chubba Hubbard. Fall from grace for this guy out of Oklahoma State, I believe. Man. Yep, that was correct. I just get the school's names mixed up. I know what he looks like because he wears those fucking weird-ass orange helmets out of Oklahoma State. I've watched him play. Really good 2 years ago. Fallen from grace. Van Jefferson, Christopher Henderson, Chris Herndon. I just said Christopher Henderson. Chris Herndon. This guy's great. But Adam Gase fucked him. Literally, Adam Gase bent him over the table, fucked him in the ass without the use of lube. I think we're going to see a tremendous comeback from Christopher Herndon. After that, we see David Njoku, DPJ, Donovan Peoples-Jones, Devin Duvernay, Russell Gage, Enu Benjamin, Sony Michel, Drew Brees. I don't even know if he's going to play anymore. Jacoby Myers, Mark Ingram, Big Trust, woo, woo, off of Baltimore now. Quinton Cephas to Marion Theory. Andrew Luck, interesting. Maybe he comes back. Fuck it. I mean, I'd pick him in the 19th round off of the upside that he does eventually retire. Boston Scott as a handcuff. Nothing super special. Latavius Murray, Dawson Knox, N'Keal Harry, Preston Williams, Tyler Johnson. Final picks of the draft, O.J. Howard, Carry On My Wayward Son. Blake Jarwin, Julian Edelman. That's a guy I was looking to pick here. Where I picked Josh Gordon, flash! Ah! It was more of a joke pick because I really didn't like anyone there. And there's obviously a chance that Josh Gordon comes back and people come knocking on the door for Josh Gordon because everyone loves Josh Gordon. After that, Wayne Gallman, Sage Surratt, Benny Snell, A.J. Green, Gardner Minshew, and then Sammy Watkins. So, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys did at any point end up enjoying, please make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. Let me know your guys' favorite pick of the draft down below in the comment section. I love you all. Have a great rest of your guys' day. And I'll see you beautiful bastards tomorrow with another banger of video and some more NBA content as well. I love you all, guys. Have a great rest of your guys' day. See you guys on the flippity flop.